Hey, Ralph.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Ernie.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Ralph.
Hi, Ernie. Hi, Ernie.
How's everybody?
Oh,
Good.
great.
That last meeting was way too tense for me.
The what?
That last meeting was pretty tense for me,
Yeah,
for you guys. But I mean, I was listening on that. I'm like, well, got to support Evan, right?
well, I got a few comments to make about that last meeting before we get started because I was part of the problem.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I would.
But you guys are under a lot more pressure than me. I don't have anyone complaining over here about anything, plane related and noise related.
Yeah, I got one lady in particular. She writes me an email every day.
I believe it. So who was there first, the airport or her? I guess is the real
Who
question.
knows?
Hey, Ralph.
Yes.
I've got residents here who honestly will tell you that their house was here before the airport was.
Really?
And I look at them and went, well, then it must have been a farming community back then, and it must have still been called Bricktown.
Right. That's what I mean.
Hey, Ralph.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey,
Where's
What's up?
Dennis?
how you doing, buddy?
Hey,
Hey,
Jennifer,
Dennis.
didn't get a chance to say hello to you.
Uh,
Hey, Ryan.
how you doing?
Good morning.
We've got 2 minutes to showtime.
Yeah. Just tell them that if you get cut off, you'll come right back. Or please, I'm having trouble here.
So here's a quick story. I sing in this choir and we're doing concerts the last weekend of April. And I had to inform the director I'm not singing with him this time because I'm going to Stockton. And I feel pretty bad about that because I really enjoy that. But, well, what are you going to do? Can only do one thing.
That's what I do in my spare time. I work on music
Do you really?
all the time.
That's cool.
All I do. Yeah. I'm releasing my I think I have my 11th record coming out. I swear to God, I have 11 records. I'm working on the 11th one right now.
Evan, did you get my text?
No, sir.
Oh, I sent it to you.
I don't have a text from you, sir.
Oh. Oh, well. I don't know what to say. Mara, do we have a quorum?
Sorry, I'm trying to find the updated resolution on my computer. Give me 1 second, please.
That's what I'm looking for.
Hey, Maura, I just sent it back to you, so you have it. So you don't have to look.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's all right.
I know
I
it's
had
in
it
there
up.
somewhere. Just
I think that's what I just sent you.
could not find it. Okay. So Now I'm ready. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, we're good. I think. 1, 2. Well, Donna, do you know if Aaron's coming?
I don't. I can go check. I thought he was joining.
We have
Let me go
quorum.
check.
It's okay. No, it's fine. We have quorum without him.
Okay.
Okay, Joe, I'm ready for you. Sorry.
All right, good. I'm opening the executive meeting of March 1st, 11 o'clock. Call the roll.
Oh, no.
Joe Nunzio,
Here.
Karen Robles, not here. Ray Cooper's not here. Evan Summers,
Here.
Dennis Ryan,
Here,
Ralph Sorsey,
Here,
Jennifer Kelsall,
Here.
Aaron Frame, Ernie Klosauer,
Here.
Bob Dunn.
I thought I saw him.
Yeah, he's there. He's just muted. Okay, thanks, Bob. Okay, we're good. We have a quorum. Thanks everyone for making it today.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. It's important that we get this accomplished today. I just have a quick comment to make before we get started. At our last meeting, we all got pretty passionate about how we feel about certain things. And I need to apologize because as chairman, it's not my job to get passionate. My job is to keep an even keel and to make sure that we use our heads and not our emotions. And I let that slip the other day, and I apologize for that. Having said that, Mara, did you look into that, what I'd asked with the COVID policy?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't find that, but let me give, if you want to keep talking, I can look it up.
Okay, thank you. Evan, the text I sent you was my sudden concern that we may argue ourselves into a corner, and the corner would be that FAA would say they have a COVID policy, which dictated they couldn't have a meeting, and that their COVID policy trumps any Cook County, any county policy that may exist having to do with COVID, so that they couldn't, by their own regulations, they couldn't have a in-person meeting. Having said that, my concern would be that if we complain to them about not having a meeting, and we still can, of course, they'll just come back and say, we couldn't do it, which leaves us nowhere.
And that's fine. They can say that all they want. That's not what they said at the time. They offered no reason or explanation. That was a rumor that it was a COVID related reason, but that wasn't what they said. And their lack of clarity and communication is what they need to be held to account for. Guys, I'm not going to stall this process. I'll tell you right now that I don't think Bensonville, Itasca, or Wooddale will be voting for this resolution. You guys have the votes to pass it, and I encourage you to work those phones and make sure you have the votes to pass it. But those three communities are probably are not going to be voting in favor of it, and that's that. And that's okay to disagree on things.
Okay. All right, we'll just leave it as that. And somebody want to make a motion to pass the ordinance?
I'll vote
resolution
so.
number 1. Second? Any discussion?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion? Do you want to put it on the screen one more time, Mara, and we'll just run through it real quick?
Sure, one second.
And this is really.
You see it?
Yes, we see it.
Yes.
Valdena, you want to just read it one more time for us?
Yes, Chairman, from the beginning, the whole resolution.
No, I think you could start from the 4th.
Okay, so yeah,
fine.
we struck the fourth whereas as requested. That's the one that was talking about the FAA publishing legal notices in the various newspapers in order to seek early involvement and consult with local government agencies and officials and the general public. I think that's the part that the committee had issues with, so it was decided to strike this whole whereas. And then if you scroll down, Maura. Thank you. And then I think Evan requested some type of a language expressing the intent of this resolution. And Evan, this may be very simple language. Is this what you were looking for? Do you have any edits to this? And I can read this, whereas the intent of adopting the O'Hare TAP EA noise contour is to provide the framework for the CDA to identify the homes and schools potentially eligible for noise mitigation and to seek funding for a future residential sound installation program.
That's great language. I appreciate the consideration. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the third item was in section 2, I struck the words without limitation. So now it reads, the O'Hare Commission hereby approves the O'Hare TAP EA noise contour for use in connection with the noise compatibility programs undertaken by the O'Hare Commission and the CDA, including the RSIP and the SSIP. And I think, Maura, there's one extra comma that I left there after including.
Yeah, I'll
So,
clean that up. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. So those are the edits. I think that I hope that captured everything that was discussed.
Again, I thank you for the consideration.
Any other discussion? If none,
Yeah, no, Mr. Chairman,
yes,
I have something. And this may seem like a fairly silly question, but I'm going to ask it. If ONCC approves this, does this have anything, would this have any impact on things that were already in the pipeline and existing in regards to residential sound specifically? I think I probably know the answer to it, but I just wanted to ask the question: if we approve this, does this reset the bar, so to speak, or those issues that are related to residential sound that are still in process, going back to OMP, because we know we were delayed as a result of the pandemic. Does that have any impact at all, or are all those programs still in existence? I don't know that I'm wording the question correctly, but I think you understand my intent.
yes. Can anybody answer that?
Of course, Chairman.
Aaron, you
Aaron?
want to go ahead?
No, Vildana, you go ahead. You know the answer.
Okay, so for all the homes that were identified under the OMP build out noise contour, the rules for those homes are not changing. Any homes that were invited under the prior noise contour are still receiving RSIP under that old contour and under the old eligibility requirements. So the last phase under that contour is phase 19. That's the phase that captured all the remaining homes within that noise contour that had not been previously invited, and also the homes that had been previously invited, but for one reason or another did not participate in prior phases. So with phase 19, we call that the cleanup phase. That phase captured all remaining OMP homes, and any homes that are enrolled under phase 19, the old rules apply. So this resolution, intent of this resolution is for a future RSIP phase, which would be phase 20 of the RSIP. We would use this contour and the new FAA eligibility requirements going forward.
All right.
Does that
Ernie,
Thank you,
answer the
Vildana.
question?
Thank you, Vildana. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chair. That's all I have.
I think
Any other-
Bob's trying to talk. His mic's not coming in.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
All right, yeah, sorry, don't Zoom much, and I was on a different setting when I was trying to talk. But the as far as this resolution goes, we are approving the noise contour, which is a modeling of a 65 DNL footprint. And so Evan, I'm curious, for you not voting for it, or some of the towns not voting for it, do you question the data integrity of it? So I'm not sure what the rationale is to not vote for it, because they're really just accepting the model that was created, is what I'm understanding.
Thanks, Alderman. So at the last executive meeting, we had a lively discussion. Our concerns focused more on process of the EA process that was undertaken by the FAA. We don't believe that the NEPA standards were upheld, that there was not a public input. They had public meetings that were canceled at short notice. Those meetings were moved online. There is a large contingent in my community that does not have access to high-speed internet, can't get online. So access starts with accessibility. And I don't think the FAA upheld their standards. So we disagree with the entire process of this. That 2.5 degree offset, we feel, was rammed down our throats. It was always said it was a temporary, and then they made it permanent, which basically solidified our fears from the get-go the moment that 2.5 degree offset was made temporary. Also, there's just a lot of back and forth. There was just a lot of back and forth with the FAA. I still disagree with their inability or lack of wherewithal to compare the OMP noise contour directly with the TAP-EA contour. Aaron and I respectfully disagree with his very technical reasoning. I think that for the purposes that we serve our communities, those should have been made clear who's in the noise contour and who's not.
Any other comments? If not, I'll call for a vote. Maura?
We need a, do we have, oh no, we have a motion in a second. Okay, roll call. Sorry. Okay, Joe Nunzio,
Yes.
Evan Summers,
No.
Dennis Ryan,
Yes.
Ralph Sorsey,
Yes.
Jennifer Kelsall,
Yes.
Aaron Frame,
Yes.
Ernie Kosauer,
Yes.
Bob Dunn.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
All right, thank you, everybody. Again, I want to tell everybody that the issue is not over as far as FAA's transparency, and we really got to get to the bottom of how serious they take us, first of all, and secondly, what's stopping them from participating more, other than these vague iterations from them saying that they can't. I mean, we got to find out, because what we do hinges on what they think. We don't have time. We don't have time anymore to wait 6 months for them to make a decision that they could have made while they were listening to us. They could have, or at least directed us without making a decision. All right. That's as passionate as I'm going to get today. Maura, do we have anything else on the agenda?
Can I just dovetail on that, Chairman?
Yeah.
I just want to, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I come at this as the city of Chicago. I'm not a resident of anymore. I'm not a taxpayer there, but they have opened their arms to graciously allow us a seat at the table. I am a taxpayer to the federal government, and the FAA should be working on behalf of my residents. And it's a sad day when the city of Chicago is working harder on behalf of the residents of Bensenville than the FAA, the actual federal regulator that's supposed to be standing up for the people, is hiding behind curtains, essentially. So I just think it stands in stark contrast that one government agency, the city of Chicago, allows us to have a seat at the table, listens to our concerns, and then the one agency that's actually supposed to stand up for my residents that we're all paying taxes to. The FAA is not. So that's just my soapbox. I'll get off of it for now, but I do want to applaud CDA for taking our concerns and considerations and implementing those. So thank you so much, Aaron and Valdana. Our gripe is with the FAA.
You're welcome.
Not to open a can of worms, but for purposes of Friday's meeting, do we need to be more clear on exactly what kind of approach we're going to take regarding the FAA? Or we're just going to say we're going to do something? Like at the last meeting, there was talk of a
I think it's important to say at this point, we're looking at all options.
Okay.
We're going to say, we're going to tell them that we're looking into the FAA issues, and we're going to be looking at all options at this point.
Okay, I just wanted to check. Thanks.
Okay.
And Chair, if I could jump in for a second, I think the fact that we have a reauthorization ad hoc committee is important here, because that is, as we know, that would be the place where
it's put in.
We could perhaps have the most impact.
I agree. If there isn't any more discussion, do we have do we have somebody in attendance that wishes to speak?
Well,
Dan wanted to speak.
Before Dan or the public speaks, I just want to confirm and let everyone know. I think most people are aware that I am stepping down from my alderman role in Elmhurst after 12 years. And maybe 7 or 8 or so on the ONCC. So it's probably not, although some of you are not in the original role you're in. It's more appropriate that I move this responsibility on to one of the other aldermen. I wanted to introduce Chris Jensen, who's on the call. He is an alderman on the north side of town in the 3rd Ward. I represent the 2nd Ward, and I've been bringing him up to speed on all the various committees, the issues in ONCC. So he will be, we're going to move him over as a designee to participate in executive committee, the daytime noise committee, and fly quiet as that is needed, and of course if the full ONCC. Our city manager Jim Grabowski has been very active, and he's been filling in for me, throughout the years when I couldn't make a meeting. So I just wanted to let that be known and introduce Chris. So Chris, I see you're on the line if you want to say a few words.
Sorry, I try to unmute here. Yeah, I appreciate the introduction. Look forward to participating in these meetings and these remote ones. I'll have a camera next time. I didn't have one set up in time, but I should be there on Friday, so I'll hopefully meet you guys in person. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Just
Chris.
to clarify, the members of the executive committee are appointed by the chair. So the appointment to executive is with Bob, not with the city. So you won't be required to serve on the executive committee, but we of course welcome you on the other committees, and please at the general meetings. Just wanted to clarify that. But thank you. Welcome, Bob. Thank you for everything that you've done and your participation and involvement. It's very
Bob, we're going to miss you.
Sure, yeah, I'll miss it. It's a great group. We've done great work, and I will still be working with Chris and keeping in touch with all you guys. And I'm running for park board in Elmhurst to help that entity out in town, and so we'll hope to keep our parks quiet as well.
Bob, I want to thank you. And the going back to when we were trying to come up with the runway rotation plan, there was a moment in time when Bentonville residents and Elmhurst residents were at opposite sides of the issue. And Bob reached out and we had a cup of coffee in a Starbucks. We kind of sketched out what ended up becoming the rotation plan of the north runways, south runways, and that diagonal runways. So thank thanks for being a consummate diplomat at all times and helping get things across the finish line when they needed to.
You bet. Yeah, it's a great group to work with.
Are you going to be at the meeting on Friday, Bob?
I might be able to attend.
Okay,
but
good.
Yeah.
Good.
We'll see.
If there are no other comments, Dan?
Yeah, thank you. Another point regarding the TAP-EA process, which doesn't address the accessibility point made by Evan, which is probably the best point, not one I thought of. But the FAA could have held virtual meetings with Q&A, and it was my understanding they did do this in other regions. So it wasn't a case that they didn't have the ability to adapt to the circumstances of COVID. They chose not to. Second part of my comments on the resolution, and maybe I'm the only one, but I remain bewildered that not only one of, but the key provision of the OMP mandate, which is sound insulation, isn't echoed in this resolution. Phase 19 of RSIP is not the completion of the OMP mandate, but only the halfway point. According to the TAP-EA data, there are thousands of households that fall under the second section of the OMP mandate, which would not only mitigate those missed in the OMP projections, but also 5 years after full build out, with a timeline to have all complete by build out +5. So now, after some of these residents having already waited 18 years, the ONCC is rolling the dice on not only when, but if these residents receive sound insulation. And what I see from the outside is an inclination to make concessions on behalf of CDA and FAA, whereas the first obligation should be to make sure all residents are treated equitably and the obligations under OMP for sound insulation fulfilled. And I think the last point I'd like to make for the meeting Friday, it should be clear that the TAP-EA only mandates 2 households already in RSIP in 1 school pending evaluation to be sound insulated. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Do we have any other comments from the public? No. If not, I'd like to call have somebody make a motion to adjourn.
I'll move so.
Somebody second? Got that, Maura? Okay, call the roll.
Sorry.
I'm here. I'm saying goodbye.
Okay, Joe,
Yes.
Evan,
Yes.
Dennis,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Dr. Kelsall,
Yes.
Aaron,
Yes.
Ernie,
Yes.
and Bob.
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, all Friday.
Yeah.